Okay, so here we are. Part three. No, well, part four, but we'll recap part three. So, part three, you guys detected that capsule in the Middle X Nebula. And after sending in Ensign Milek and I think it was Ensign Choi to basically determine what this radiation was going to do to the ship, to bodies, to everything. They got a sample, brought it back, and Lieutenant Silva and Dr. Ray looked it over and determined that it wouldn't, it's not going to hurt you, anything. But they reported, Ensign Milek and Ensign Choi reported that it kind of made them queasy, kind of made them like motion sickness. And then the doctor and the lieutenant discovered that it affects the hippocampus and neocortex, which are sections of the brain that deal with memories and things of that nature, like thinking, higher reasoning. Um, then Captain Knightley felt it was okay to go into the nebula, uh, grapple onto the capsule, bring the capsule aboard, and then I'm pretty sure it was Ensign Clark. He found the latch and he opened it up, and there he saw a little lizard man, 5 foot tall lizard man, kind of shift in color and be scared of Ensign Clark. And it was revealed that his name was Grenjid, Commander Grenjid of Zar Felis, and he was an astronaut sent from this planet Zar Felis to explore this nebula. And he gave a really kind of like wordy breakdown of what his society had experienced. So basically, I'll kind of recap it very quickly. He talked about that over 190 years ago, his species sent an astronaut into space, and he didn't he didn't return, and they thought he was dead, so were kind of like reverted back to simple life, farming and just normal type of agricultural. They kind of gave up on the sciences. And then over 150 years after that astronaut had disappeared, he reappeared and returned to their planet. And with that happening, it basically made a lot of people question pretty much everything. And there was several years of debate whether they should go back to space. And after several years, a couple years after their probably about 10 years after that astronaut returned, close to 10 years, their planetary telescopes found this nebula. So they used that as like a point of interest to start their space program again. And they launched capsules at it, but it took about 20 years to build the capsule. And it takes about a year for them to reach it. As I think, again, Ensign Clark discovered that the ship isn't warp capable. So it takes them a long time to get to this nebula. And then about each astronaut spends about 6 months inside the nebula. And Grenjid revealed that their hope they get visions of the past. So they hope to basically see things that may pertain to this thing that they refer to as the original event, or the afterlife, or the rapture, and that somehow a thing called the sun ribbon is involved. And Grenjid is the fourth astronaut to be sent to the nebula and has been there for 3 months. So after getting that breakdown, he was brought onto the ship. You got to see the picture of him after he asked Commander Arhat what if he could take his helmet off. And he went to his room, and then I think it was Captain Knightley. I think Commander Arhat think just those two brought him to Dr. Ray. I think that's kind of where we were wrapping it up. Was you two were bringing him to Dr. Ray, and Dr. Ray was doing some scans on him, and basically revealed that his like physiology is made for higher temperatures, normal than just like room temperature, and that he isn't like freezing by any. He's not like hypothermic, um, but he's cold, and that his neocortex and his hippocampus is like heavily stimulated. You can see that she could see that the radiation is like really that part of his brain is very irradiated. And so right before we cut, which Adrian was so happy to find out that for some mysterious reason, Grenjid was no longer looking at or communicating with Captain Knightley. And so that's where we left off, was the three of them in the med bay. But I just want to get an idea of what, before we continue with that scene, I just wanted to know what either Ensign Clark or Lieutenant Silva, what you guys were, what you'd like to be doing, or what would you like to be, where would you like to be?
I would probably just go back to the engine room.
Okay, that's fine.
Has anyone checked out the inside of the pod, or?
Yeah, Ensign Clark gave it a once over, and we kind of talked about that last episode. He kind of discovered that he had seen the proof that Grenjid had been in there for at least 3 months, because like things were, like the seat was worn, things were used, or like, you could tell it wasn't like he just had shown up there like a day ago. And also there was like waste and stuff in the capsule.
I was very bored by it. That's why I'm going back to the engine room.
Right.
No, there was no technology, nothing.
No, yeah. It's pretty much like 20th century, like stuff they would have sent the Apollo missions in. Nothing crazy. Definitely like ancient in comparison. Probably not ancient, but probably like 1800s type technology to us right now. Like it's cool, like, oh neat, I get to look at it in person, but like,
is there any sign of like a database with information on it, or?
There is a little bit, but it would be like the same type of thing where it would be like it would be like one of our computers tapping into like one of the Gemini or Apollo capsules, where you'd get a little bit, but you wouldn't get a lot. It wouldn't be like, it's not like a huge database, like big thing. It's a very simple piece of technology.
Okay, so
it's basically like it's basically like launch, go here, exist, come back. Like that's you're gonna have like the planet name, his name, probably heads of state, like people's names attached to things, but that's about it.
Okay, then no. Because I was just thinking if there was like a database, it'd be neat to look at it. But if I see it and it's like, oh, this is clearly the bare minimum of information, it's like, right, this is worth searching it.
Yeah, it's nothing like you guys would have on your ship, where it's like, you could type into the thing like Federation or Tellarites or something, and now you'd get like a rich history of information. It's like, no, it would be basically like poke a button, and it would be like, you are here. Like that's about it. That's all I would say.
You know which direction his planet is?
Yes, because I think when you earlier in like episode 2, part 2 of this episode, I think you scanned or maybe Mike did. Somebody scanned and saw a planet like off in a direction. There was not like a deep scan of that planet, but they could see that there was a planetoid in a direction.
So I would probably go to the sensors and just see what I could find about the planet. Well,
okay.
And then after that, just spend the rest of unless I find something interesting, spend the rest of the time on duty.
Okay. Yeah, later we can we can have you scan for the planet, like do it more.
But I'm just thinking he'd probably want to just verify that there's like a is there an energy trail? Is there something weird about the planet? If it just looks like a normal planet, it's like he'd just, all right, who cares?
Yeah. From long range sensors, it wouldn't really show up as anything really interesting.
So then we don't have to. We can do the scene, but then nothing.
Well, we'll see what the captain and commander and doctor all think, and I'll probably put Jahan will probably be. I would assume he probably would stay with all of you, because if there's a translation issue, he probably would be nearby.
Yeah, I think I would ask him to stay.
So I think the 4 of you are going to be in the med bay. And that's where we'll pick up this. Well, the 5 of you would be in the med bay counting Grenjid. And I think that's where we'll pick it up. So I will pass the torch to whoever would like to cut into it.
I will take a chance to be who I'm meant to be. I won't let fear keep me from trying. It's time for me to make a change, to start living the life I want. I'm gonna reach for the sky, way up high. I'm never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm never giving up. 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 I'm never giving up.
So he won't talk to me.
Mhm.
So not a whole lot I can do.
So he's not. So for you, he won't. It's not like he's mad, and it's not like he's confused or anything. He's doing kind of like that cross between a little kid who's bashful and somebody who is maybe standing before like a king.
Gotcha. That's uncomfortable.
That's kind of like the vibe you're getting from him.
What were we doing in the med bay? Just making sure he's okay.
Yeah, you were doing like a checkup of him, and then you were
we did it already. And he was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the thing I wanted to do was make sure that we because then something happened. I don't remember. Or we were gonna invite him for dinner, right?
Yeah. You had requested him to have some food, and he had said he would welcome the food.
Okay,
Yep.
so we need to ask him what he would like to eat. But here's the other thing: is like he's pre-warp, so like he already has seen too much by me, like
sure,
by us like prancing him around the ship. So probably shouldn't like reveal a ton to the guy.
The thing is I think the mess hall is near the same deck, so it'd just be down the hall. There's food.
Gotcha. Okay. So he doesn't have to know. And I keep forgetting that we're not dealing with like replicators and holodecks and stuff like that.
Right.
We have like a chef. So okay.
Right.
On the ships, every main thing is like the first 3 levels. Then after that is all the engines and everything else. So he wouldn't pass the first 3 levels. He would just stay within, we're going to the med bay, which is like 1 level down. or possibly
Right.
on the same, because most likely we brought him into one of the like the ship, the shuttle bay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the shuttle bay is on the same level as the med bay is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's that or the engine room. It's one of them. Yeah.
All right.
I think on those the engine room is like a level down.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Have we shown him to a room yet? I can't remember.
Yeah. You collected him. You and the commander collected him.
That's right. Okay.
From a quarters, from like a guest quarters.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess at this point I would just ask him like what he would like, what can we serve you for dinner, and I'll make sure the chef prepares it for you.
Okay. So yeah. So he'd say, oh, well, I haven't had, and he starts to list a whole bunch of stuff that basically Jahan has no idea what it translates to, because it's basically like him saying, hamburger and chicken parmesan, and he's just saying things in his culture is a word, but there is no translation for it.
It's like me saying red bat. If you don't know what red bat
Right,
is,
exactly.
Right. Okay. Well, is it safe to assume then that he eats like bugs and stuff?
It would be you.
That's speciesist.
I was gonna say, do you really want to go there?
Well, you could. Dr. Ray could easily take you aside and show you that, like, she can tell that his like palate and his tongue and stuff, like and tell from what's in his stomach that he basically has been eating like nutrients. It's just basically been like vitamins and things that keep him stable. But it seems like his gastrointestinal system can handle meat and vegetables. Like he doesn't.
Okay.
He's not like. Doesn't seem like he would have any issue with anything weird. He doesn't.
Okay. Well, then, for the sake of keeping things simple, I'll just tell him that I don't think we have any of that aboard. How about we prepare you one of our meals and see how you like it?
So he doesn't. Remember, he's not talking to you.
Right.
So I'm going to assume that you're telling the commander this, and then he's telling the commander in return.
I'm kind of just saying it. I'm still talking to him, but I
see.
kind of figure that like he's like answering somebody else.
He's answering the commander or the doctor, whoever's looking at him, who's not you. That's who he's talking to.
Okay.
So basically, she says it to him, and he can say it to me, which I find really odd. I'm supposed to be the big burly guy that you're supposed to be scared of, and the captain is it's like big burly blue guy and female human.
Yeah.
But no problem with me.
No.
Problem with you.
Yeah.
It just seems flip flopped here.
That is true. Typically, you're a little more trustful of slight young women.
Maybe you could ask him why he's like that.
Yeah. All right. So, I would ask him like, "Hey, Grenjid, I noticed that you're not talking to me anymore. What's the problem, sir?"
And so he awkwardly stands there for a minute, and you can tell he's like uncomfortable, like he's kind of like adjusting his suit. And he just kind of says to the commander or the doctor, whoever's looking at him, he says, in my culture, those who have the highest rank do not speak.
Oh my god. My love for this absolute random character is too much. I would just say to him, well, in our culture, we're all equal, and you don't have to be afraid of me or have any of those feelings towards me. I would appreciate if you would carry on as we were, if that's okay with you.
And
to put it simply, in our culture, the best way to communicate is to talk to the person, and we are under direct orders from the captain to speak to her. So we follow orders, and because the captain wants us to speak to her, we do so.
Fair.
Yeah. So he nods it. He understands Commander Arhat's position. He understands. He's also a part of a structure of command, so he understands that. So he kind of sheepishly doesn't look. He doesn't make eye contact with Adri, with Captain Knightley, and he does this thing where he puts his hand up like this, but he puts it kind of palm like this, and he puts it out towards you, and he just kind of holds it there. And then he says, but he kind of like is still looking at Commander Arhat, and he says, well, this is my cut. He explains that it's a custom that you press thumbs together like this, the opposite person. It's basically like a handshake. And that's his understanding, that he agrees, he understands, and he's going to work with you, but he's still very uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, I would.
He does it towards the captain, right? Yeah.
Okay, so then I do it to him.
Yeah, and then he
Thank him.
once you move the thumb away, he immediately takes it down as fast as possible and just very quietly just kind of exists. He doesn't say much of anything.
That's so cute. Well, I would just like thank him and let him know that, like, you know, I don't want him to feel uncomfortable. So, you know, just at ease, like everything's okay, and you can speak to whoever you want, you know, be comfy, but everything is okay on my end. And then we could, you know, go have dinner, and
I can escort to get the food and show him Zar, because he would still feel uncomfortable with you. So plus there's the fact that I'm still cautious.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
It's one of those things. He may be the most docile person. It's actually one of my values, where I'm accepting of things. I'm accepting of the unknown, but wary of it. And that's one thing I've been into as we've been going, because I made that one of my values, where I accept the unknown, but I'm also very cautious of it.
Yeah. Makes sense. No, it makes sense. He's definitely an anomaly. He's nothing like, right? There's nobody else on the ship like this. Everybody's very confident in themselves. Okay. So you want to escort him to the mess hall there, Mike?
Yeah, I'll escort him to the mess hall. I have no problem sitting across from him, so he has someone to look at.
Okay. So, how do you want to go? How do you want to go about getting him a meal? Like, because he's not gonna understand. He can understand like meat, the words like meat and stuff like that, but he does not gonna know what like a hamburger is.
I would go to the chef and explain to the chef that he doesn't know what he wants. Can you just get a couple little samples, see what he likes, and then from there, if he likes something, he can have more of it. If he doesn't like something, we don't give that to him.
Okay.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. So I think for the sake of for John, I think we'll put a cheeseburger in there, because I think that's the big joke.
He'll be happy.
That and space chips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, space chips.
Gotta give him some space chips.
Okay, so it's a cheeseburger with space chips. Yeah. Anybody else want him to have anything more specific than that? Like, otherwise, we'll just make it generic food.
I would make it food, because I know he wouldn't want red bat.
Okay.
I'd say make him a nice salad too.
Okay, a salad.
Something like light, you know.
I say give him a taco.
Perfect. Okay.
Tacos.
So that's what. So a chicken taco or a beef taco?
Chicken. And if he doesn't like it, he can get off the ship.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so he sits down. Obviously, the chef makes the order. No big deal. And the plate the plates come out before him, and he looks at him, and he has that kind of moment where he's very excited. He really wants to eat it, but then he's also like, what is this? Like, he doesn't know, he doesn't know where to begin. He doesn't know what's what. So he begins to basically, as you would expect anybody, he starts taking apart things, like holding up a potato chip, and then he says a word for it, and then you say potato chip or space chip, and then he bites it. It's a thing where he pulls off the top bun of the cheeseburger, says the word in his language, you say bun, he says bun, and then he bites it.
No.
And he just does it for everything in the meal.
We show him how we eat a cheeseburger. We say, try it like this.
Okay, so then he takes all of it, the parts that are because he's already taken bites out of everything. doesn't matter. There's
So
multiple
cute.
bites missing out of random sections of the cheeseburger. He bites into it, and he chews, and he sets it back down, and then he goes to the salad, and he holds up the salad, and he bites into the salad,
No.
and then he puts the salad down.
That's so
and then he goes
cute.
over to the taco, and he puts all of the taco in his mouth, and he eats it.
Oh my gosh.
And he says, and he points at the cheeseburger, and he points at the taco, and he likes those two things. He doesn't like the salad.
Well, I don't think he ate the salad properly. But
how would you want him to eat the salad?
I would show him like, hey, we use this fork and we stab things.
It doesn't change the flavor if he doesn't like the flavor.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Whatever.
He takes the fork
like...
and he pulls out one single piece of lettuce.
No, and I specifically tell him no, get several things.
So he takes and he puts everything that's in this. He puts one of everything that's in the salad on one fork.
He's so literal. Okay.
He eats all of it. And then he goes and he points back at the cheeseburger.
So we say okay, and we take the salad away. So he knows he doesn't have to eat it. He's very literal, isn't he? That's very funny.
Well, he just doesn't. He just doesn't know. But go ahead. What are you gonna say, Gib?
I was just gonna say they're probably not like vegetarian.
Yeah.
On this planet.
True.
It is weird eating plants,
I guess so. Yeah.
Every plant has a different flavor to it. Some are bitter, some are sweet. Depending on what kind of salad it is, it may not eat to his taste.
Also, like the chef knew from your guys' orders to not make anything like super robust. Like pretty much make it as bare minimum as like what you would call a cheeseburger, a salad, a chicken taco. Like, don't get crazy.
Nice.
This is the first time he's trying anything. Don't go nuts with it.
Right. Exactly.
So I think the biggest thing we have to do is like find out what we're gonna do with this guy. Like, what does he want to happen? What do we want? Because the thing I think about is like, is it ethical to like send him back on his way to like wait for this maybe thing that might happen that they might be kind of like misunderstanding,
The thing is, he came here to learn about the afterlife or something like that. So if he goes home, they may think that this is the afterlife. They may not take anything he says as reality.
Yeah.
Plus, there's one thing I was thinking about with this is, what's the difference between him and a smart animal? No matter what, we would have to teach him everything that he would need to do on the ship.
Yeah.
We already have plenty of people on the ship and more people who would want to come onto the ship who are already trained.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
I think the most unethical thing you could do is to, like, put down his beliefs and then, like, not let him, go back to his ship and his home.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
think that's
basically, we would be abducting him.
Yeah. No, that's
he
true.
would, if he's already cold right now, we would have to make special accommodations for him on the ship.
Yeah.
Where everyone
Absolutely.
else is okay on the ship right now, he's cold. He would need his own special place on the ship.
He would
Yeah.
have to come down to the engine rooms with me.
Yeah. So do we, I'd like to just ask him what he wants. Like whether or not we're like gonna just say goodbye and put him back on a ship and obviously give him supplies and whatever if need be. Or like does he want to go home? I don't know. So I guess we should just ask him what he wants.
Okay, so we'll just say that from the mess hall, you guys, Commander Arhat returned him to his quarters, and then stationed a security officer outside, and then you guys came back to the bridge and had a conference meeting up on the bridge with full senior staff, and that was your
our
discussion.
Yes.
And so now who's going to return to his quarters to have this conversation, right? That's how I interpreted that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not me. Send someone he's comfortable with.
But because we're the senior staff, does Lieutenant Silva have anything to add to this?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Because there was something that I was thinking.
He wants a Frankenstein. He wants something where he could do experiments on.
Because it's like, I would just add, it's like, it's not our place to try to alter another's culture.
Yeah.
So it's like we've already had a massive effect on their culture as it is. When
Yeah.
Yeah, we're way past the prime directive on this one.
I know.
is the prime directive even a thing yet, or
It's general. That's what Adri referred to in her captain's log, which was General Order 1, which is what they refer to it as at this time period.
okay? So we've already crossed the line. We didn't know. We thought we were trying to save someone, but
Right, exactly. Yep.
I mean, I was directly ordered to check out.
Yeah, no, yeah, you were in your rights. You were
so.
in your rights.
the only other suggestion I could give is we could see if the doctor could delete the memories he had. That would then solve a lot of these issues, but we don't know his physiology, so we don't know how successful that would be.
That's pretty unethical as well.
That seems violating. Yeah. What? I mean, that's a good.
Wasn't there a couple episodes where they did that?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It always went well.
Who would like to go to his quarters and ask him what he wants?
Now, it shouldn't be the captain because the captain is too high and mighty for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to make him uncomfortable. Which makes Adri sad, but the captain's fine with it.
Yep. I have no problem talking with him. He also doesn't have an issue talking with me, which I find a little surprising.
It's kind of funny because you're also a commander. It's not like...
Yes, it's also the fact that he wouldn't be talked to by a lower rank. He could see us as equals.
Yeah.
Right, because he's also a commander.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, thank you and have fun.
And and just in case you missed it, it wasn't that he doesn't talk to high-ranking officials. He doesn't talk to those who are the highest. The people who are the highest do not speak. So you're the highest on the ship. He understands that hierarchy aboard the vessel.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just showing respect to him because he and I are kind of equals in his mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we'll have you travel down to his quarters, and he's there, and he answers the door, and you can tell he's very sleepy because he's had like a lot of food.
Oh,
Because like basically he was like cheeseburger, and you got him another cheeseburger, and then he ate it. Then he was like cheeseburger, and then he ate
no.
it. Well, he also hasn't really eaten anything really, like a lot. So he was happy to eat. He's not like sick. He just ate more than, like a person would maybe have one or two cheeseburgers, and he had probably like 3 or 4 cheeseburgers.
in a food coma.
Yeah. So do you want to play it out, Mike, or do you just want to like just ask him that question?
I have no problem either way. Where I would just walk up and say, "There's a few things I need to discuss with you. Going forward, what do you want to do? Do you want to return to your capsule? Do you want to return home? What are your goals going forward?"
Well, I would like to tell my people that I have seen the afterlife, and that we have found what we have been searching for so many years. I would like to return to my home, but if it is not possible for me to return home, then I would at least ask that you please message my family and let them know that I am now with you.
We have no problem with you returning home. You are more than capable of it. If you want, we can help get some things set up, get your pod cleaned out a little bit, give you some provisions, and you can make your way home, and we can possibly drop you off a little bit closer so you don't have so long to go.
Cheeseburgers?
Yes, we provide you with some cheeseburgers.
Thank you.
We will avoid it.
So
go ahead. No, go ahead, Caleb.
No, are we kind of meant to believe that the previous captain of his race was actually like picked up by a group, like a different ship, and they believe that that's what the afterlife is?
That's what you're not sure of. That initial astronaut that you're speaking of, not the one who came to the nebula, the first ever launched person of his species, disappeared, and when he returned, he talked of this thing called which translates into sun ribbon. He talks of this thing that basically looked like a giant sun ribbon. Like that, there's no other way to really put it. And they have been looking for. They've been looking for the sun ribbon, and they haven't found it. They found the nebula, and that they've been going to the nebula. They just went to the nebula as an exploratory thing for mission 1, just to see it, just to like get some what do you call it? Like get some things under their. Get some. I can't think of the terminology, but like get used to going back into space, essentially.
Yeah.
And when go ahead.
I thought it was interesting that if him being on board our ship and talking to us assumes that is what it is, then I wonder if the previous captain met other people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with him thinking that we're the afterlife. That makes me feel bad.
Yeah, because the first astronaut talks about this thing seen, and then he was in like a paradise land. He was in in an afterlife scenario where it was everything he ever dreamed of.
Wait a minute. Did he go to Risa? Did he
Maybe he did. Maybe somebody picked him up from Risa.
Because I don't understand what a sun ribbon has to do with a ship, and we're like, it's not.
He saw a solar flare, and then he was abducted and taken to the space station.
I mean, what's like paradise? I don't know.
So that's why they attribute those two things together. This sun ribbon thing that he talks about in the afterlife or rapture or some sort of like beautiful thing, he's like, oh well, those two things are together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but our ship is not like this beautiful thing for him. Like I don't understand.
No, and he doesn't know. It's just because it's so like intense, it's such a
Mm-hmm.
out of body experience that thinks that's he's experiencing that.
Compared to his culture, it would be crazy.
Yep. It kind of sounds like you guys are gonna take him. You're gonna, like Mike said, you guys are gonna take care of his capsule, kind of gussy him up a little bit, send him on his way with some cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
And then take him to his planet or put him back in the nebula.
See, here's the thing. I feel like taking him to his planet is like real bad because obviously we can get there really fast.
The question is how far out of the way is his planet? How long would it take us to get there?
Mike, you asked the perfect question. Let's cut to Lieutenant Silva on the bridge. Okay, so let's have Andrew roll control science for his character. You'll need one success, Andrew. And let's have Adri roll sensor science for the ship.
What am I? Control science?
Yeah.
I need a 15.
You just need one success.
I roll on 2 d20s or just one?
2 d20s. Oh no, wait, is it one, Andrew?
Which one? If it's helping, it's one. It's in the computer. The computer help.
Yeah, sorry. So it's just one. It's
okay.
sensors and science. I always think it's 2, but it's not. It never is. It's probably every video I've had is like it's probably me going, is it 2? No, it's 1. Oh, okay.
Well, we're still new. I did not make it.
Okay.
I got a 2, so I got 1 success.
Okay, so Andrew finds not that far away. He finds at warp 1, 90 minutes away from your current position, or warp 2, 11 seconds away from your current position.
Wow.
There is a dry desert world planet that operates on a 32-hour day period, and that it cycles around its sun to have an equivalent of 544 Earth days a year. Like their year that's how long it takes. And on average, it gets as cold as 98 degrees, and it gets as hot as 212 degrees.
Holy.
Nice.
So that's what his scans show.
Man.
So that's Zar Felis that Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew is now punching into the computer, is going, this is called Zar Felis, not whatever random, computer numbered.
Cool. We got exploration.
Yeah, you have officially named it.
Cool. I like that.
So if we take him to the planet's surface, then that would be considered first contact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. We've already gone too far.
Isn't that what the whole purpose of our
is that
is?
Not with primitive cultures.
It would, but General Order 1 tells you that because they don't understand warp, that it is a very bad idea.
Okay.
To...
All right.
The
Yeah,
two below us, Caleb.
Yeah. They don't know how to use warp technologies.
They don't know anything about different cultures.
They're flying around in sticks. I picture his ship. I picture his ship just being like all wood. It's just wood.
He pulls this thing, it's just flat.
90 minutes at warp 1, we could take a 10-minute detour, because at warp 4 we'd be there in a minute.
Well, and at warp 2, I think you must have, at warp 2 it's 11 seconds.
Yeah.
So
we can easily take if the captain wants, which I'm guessing the captain does, would like to get him closer to home so he doesn't have the what was it,
year.
6 or year?
It's a year journey. It's a year journey for him.
Oh.
Put him out close to his home and then allow the pod to just take him the rest of the way to his planet.
Yeah.
Where it's like a couple days as opposed to a year. I'm assuming that's what the captain would like.
Yeah. She's struggling because she really wants to just take him home now so he can get home now. But she also knows that, like, that's really it's just too much. We've already gone too far by having him on the ship. And
well, to alleviate some issue, you would know from talking to him, from Mike talking to him, that like they have planetary telescopes and they have some satellites, but they don't have like spacecraft. Like it's basically like Earth now. Like there's some camera stuff in space, but there's not like ships to intercept you. It's not the chance of your ship entering orbit or entering like maybe where like our moon is, like you probably wouldn't be seen. You
right,
might
but
be
like
seen.
he knows that it's weird that it took us 11
Correct.
seconds to get there.
Also, his planet is not expecting him for like another 15 months.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, actually.
Yeah.
Plus, like, if we want his race to be like, since they're like explorers, you kind of would want him to do it the natural way, wouldn't you?
And I'll tell you too. He reveals that he understands, because Mike would tell him he's like an Andorian, right? Probably would you? Yeah. So he would explain that he is called a Molzengi. That's what he is called, Molzengi.
I think that we should just drop him off here.
Put him back in the nebula.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, is putting him in the nebula like what if we just put him outside the nebula? Like, can he get home?
Oh yeah, he can. He's totally capable of getting home.
I think I think we need to just let him do it now.
Okay.
You know,
that's totally fine.
It's really hard. I want to just take him home, but I don't think we should interfere more.
I personally wouldn't take him home. At most, I would bring him a little bit closer and then let him do the rest of the way home.
Yeah. I mean, if we ask him, of course he's going to be like, yeah, take me closer. So it's kind of hard. I guess
we went into this thinking it was a rescue mission and he wasn't even in danger.
Right.
So it's not like we need to really do anything for him.
Right. He was just
already gave him
cheeseburgers.
He'll never be able to have another cheeseburger the rest of his life.
I know. What have we done?
He gets home, he's probably going to try and recreate the cheeseburger. That'll be his life goal.
Yeah.
Forget about exploring space. I must recreate the cheeseburger.
The cheeseburger.
I won't do this to you guys, but it'd be funny. You guys will come back in like 2 years and do like a co-op, like a secret covert scan of Zar Felis like 2 years from now. And they don't space explore, they just worship cheeseburgers. That's all it is.
I was thinking that. Just a big cheeseburger statue.
Oh.
May the cheese guide you.
All right. So let's do all of the repairs and clean his ship and give him food.
Clean his ship. Okay.
Everything else, and then let's just let him be here. Just do it.
I'll do a once over of his ship before he takes off, making sure that all of his safety stuff is good. And
okay.
Yeah. So you kind of when you look through that, and Vincent Clark kind of looks it over, he just kind of sees like, not that he would have had really any issues, but like you just kind of you clean his oxygen, you kind of recycle it a little bit better, so he'll have fresher oxygen, and like the engines were a little clogged from just debris and stuff in the nebula, so you kind of clean it out. Not anything that like if you hadn't done it, he would have died. It just makes it easier for him to get going.
Good.
Cool.
Okay.
And they'll launch him.
So as he gets in, so Ensign Clark's in there and probably Commander Arhat's in there. Are you in there too, Captain, or no? Are you saying goodbye to him?
Yeah.
So he gets into his capsule, he puts his helmet back on, and he has like his little, basically like a greasy little like brown paper bag with cheeseburgers in it. And he has that kind of like stuffed down under like the thing, like down like underneath his seat. And you hear he's like singing. You can hear him, and you can tell that it's probably some sort of song from his planet.
Oh.
As Ensign Clark kind of closes the thing onto him.
Snoring.
Yeah. Yeah. He's very happy, and he puts up to the glass. He puts up to the glass the thumb, the hand and the thumb, and he waves goodbye to everybody. Because everybody's doing that back to him, so he just does it back. He doesn't know what it is, so he just does it too.
Bye, Grenjid.
Bye, Grenjid.
And everybody vacates and watches out the thing, and the pod door, the shuttle bay doors thing, and he goes out, and he just slowly just starts to drift back towards the location of his home. He doesn't go into the nebula. As you watch him, he's making a more direct path for his home planet. And his thrusters are on. He's not back into the nebula.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So you're muted, Mike. If you were talking to me.
He found what he needed to on his mission, so his mission is complete. Therefore, he can now go home.
He's now going home.
Well,
With his ship.
So hard to say goodbye.
Oh, I'll leave you with this. Maybe what maybe Ensign Clark saw it when he closed the hatch. He sees this it's like a little piece of notebook paper, and it's in his link and these symbols. And Lieutenant Commander Jahan translates it, and it says if you're ever at Zar Felis, ask for regal aid Bamik.
Okay.
That's what it says.
What does that mean?
It says like it regal aid, like an aid to somebody, and you get the gathering that Bamik is a name.
Okay.
Basically, if you're ever in town, look me up.
Right,
Yeah.
basically, right, yeah.
Huh. Sad.
And that includes, well, almost. So what you'll learn is, as everybody goes to bed that night, sad of seeing Grenjid go away and having to say goodbye, feeling nothing at all, and feeling that you've violated general
after your meditation.
Yeah. As you all go to bed, you let's see, only people who don't are Caleb, and so Lieutenant Sova and Ensign Clark don't have this experience. But when you're all sleeping, Commander Arhat has a very vague of the old man from his past. Very plainly and very deeply, he remembers him, almost as if he was experiencing it, rather than just like a dream where it's like a good memory. It's more like almost like he was in the past, dealing with him, talking to him, remembering the stories and the funny anecdotes and the little things he would say to him. And
it's from the nebula, isn't it?
And Jahan has a very vivid memory of his friend Professor Tun, who was lost in the previous Drake thing. And lastly would be Adri. Adri, Captain Knightley remembers sitting in that huge tree where she used to sit. And again, you can feel the breeze. You can smell the berries. It's more than just having a good, like Commander Arhat. It's more than just having a nice, pleasant dream. It's like you're back there. So that, as Ensign Clark kind of brought out, because there's going to be reports across the entire ship that Dr. Ray are getting that people are having. A couple people are going to come into sickbay and say, "Hey, I'm having I had a really weird dream where it was very specific and it was very noteworthy." And you guys kind of put together that the thing that Grenjid had talked about was clearly what the nebula was doing. It was allowing people to access memories in a way that dreams don't. Like dreams are more like hodgepodge things of your brain putting things together, and the radiation of the nebula was literally allowing you to have photographic memory of something, of an event that took place. So rather than dreaming about it, you were basically reliving a memory.
Interesting.
So now you can understand the interest that the Molzengi or Grenjid or anything of that were interested in, because it was very vivid and very intense.
Very interesting.
So had he not fallen asleep out there in his shuttle?
He does. Yep. But see, he said, remember, I think Adri asked, she was like, and what have you seen? Like, what was your vision? And he said picking his favorite fruit. So he was in the nebula hoping to find evidence of this sun ribbon, this thing where something just beyond what they could understand. And what you're kind of gathering was he was only having memories of his life, of his past, rather than seeing something that he believed he could see. He was just seeing things like you guys are seeing. You weren't seeing things of you weren't time traveling. You weren't seeing things beyond this world. You were just reliving memories in your sleep.
What was the first guy seeing?
Exactly. What was the first guy seeing? That's the question. That's the question. That was not answered. Okay, well, then that concludes episode 1. That has been officially concluded.
Yay.
Yay.
4 parts.
Are we starting episode 2?
We gotta do milestone first.
8:00 right now.
I probably won't get full blown into it. I probably will just tie up some loose ends so that when we pick up the next episode, we can just get into it and not do basically do some housekeeping here at the end with Dr. Ray and things of that nature, and then that way next time we get on, it's just right into episode 2. There's no.
I wanted John to come back next week and us to be like, "Oh yeah, we're we already did all that stuff.
It's gone.
Yeah, we already left the space station.
Your guy's dead.
So
What he dropped out.
are we gonna go to Starbase 2 and just pick up Starbase 2 next time?
I think the thing to do is travel to Starbase 2, dock, play out the stuff with Dr. Ray, and then next time will be the full like dealing with Starbase 2. Like you'll have like a little bit of interaction with Starbase 2, like a tiny bit, but it won't really be the meat of episode 2.
Okay. Are we losing a momentum right now, or?
Oh yes, you did lose it when you took him to the mess hall. You lost momentum because that was a new scene.
Because we're doing a new episode, we reset. Right?
So it resets once we start a new episode. But yeah, you had 4 minutes
we still have 5
minutes.
until you tell me we have a new episode.
Yeah. Okay, so I think sadly, really only Andrew used the value. Nobody else got injured. Nobody challenged it, which is fine. So we can give Andrew. Do you choose to?
Yes, I want to get a redo my focus.
Redo your focus.
But just to let everybody know, because I opened it, so you can either if you've crossed out a value, you can replace the value.
Yep.
You can choose 2 disciplines and transfer a point from one to the other. You can choose a focus and replace it with another focus, or you can select a supporting character and do one of the things above to them.
Yeah.
If you do a spotlight milestone, which is every 2 to 3 missions, that's when you can transfer an attribute from one to another. You can replace one character's talent with another.
Yeah.
Or you can select a supporting character and do one of the things above.
Yeah, which will be probably a long time. We'll still have to go over spotlight stuff. So
you can also do stuff with the ship with a spotlight.
Yeah. Okay, so you are choosing one of your focuses and replacing it with another.
Since we have 2 engineers, I want to get rid of power management.
Okay. Sounds good.
And do you want me to figure out the new one, or I'll think about it and we can continue on?
Yeah, I mean we're not gonna get into it, so you can just in the next week and a half, whatever.
Okay.
Just come up with it. Okay. So that takes care of that because I really don't think anybody else had anything. I don't think anything else really happened to anybody else.
You had to like challenge your value, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you had to challenge it, or you went when you went to go roll, you used your value to like give you a benefit.
Or you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or you got injured.
Yeah.
So.
Because like I use a value to use my determination point.
Right.
And I got an extra dice that I changed to a 1. So that's why I got a milestone.
Yeah, I forgot what you used it on. It's in episode. It's in part 3.
It was the time task.
Oh yes.
Where you're like, oh, this is super. This is like has multiple parts, and so I use my value. Even the most complex tasks you can break down.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. So you guys spend another, let me just get it correct here. Another stretch of time here. I'm trying to figure out what was I forgot what it was.
So this is a new episode?
Yeah, basically.
So we're back to 0. And we all have 1 determination point.
Yeah. So you guys spend about another month traveling to Starbase 2. And you get to Starbase 2, And you dock. And Starbase 2, let me whet everybody's appetite for next game, if I can do this appropriately.
Our momentum goes back to 0 at the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's a brand new episode. Yeah.
But if you use your
That's-
determination point, you get a new one.
Well, that's lame.
Well, that's why we got to start using scanners right at the beginning of the episode.
I feel
Start
like we don't.
scanning everything.
I feel like we don't do anything with our stuff. We haven't yet.
Episode 2, we're out of momentum.
Yeah.
Well, at the start of episode 2, when we decide to unload, I am going to use my focus to try and get some momentum.
Okay. So here's what Starbase
Tapping
2
people.
looks like. Ignore the planet, but basically, generally, that's the size of the Drake, and this is what Starbase 2 looks like.
Are those solar panels on top?
They are, yes.
Nice.
Are those same type of rooms, those circular rooms as the other one?
These are not like the seed planet things. These are more like more like housing. It's more like places for people to be and sit and stuff of that nature.
Right. It looks
So
smaller.
It is very much smaller. Just because it's like it's a thing that they're working on in progress, and it's
Oh, right. Yeah.
3-4 months away from pretty much major civilization.
Where's the ship dock on it?
It docks up where those little circular little slit things
Oh,
are.
okay.
Yeah. So that is Starbase 2. So you guys dock at Starbase 2, and before everybody begins the disembarking, there is a scene where Dr. Ray and the captain meet in her quarters, and the doctor very, very calmly and very professionally states and hands her over a pad that basically explains her departure of the Drake, and that she needs to basically spread her wings, pun intended, in a bigger environment. So she's going to stay on Starbase 2 and help the medical staff here. But she recommends a doctor, a doctor here on Starbase 2 who she knows very well. And that soon you will perfect. You will see, you will meet that doctor. And I'm sure the captain and her have a nice little exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely tell her that it was nice to have her, and
Get lost.
no, it was good to serve with her once, and I hope she finds what she's looking for, and thank her for the recommendation, and I'll see her around the corner sometime.
She says thank you very much, and she goes back to her med bay and collects her things and her sunflowers and her things that she brought from her home world, and disembarks and plans on basically starting a new profession, because she'll be very well needed on the starbase. So she plans on basically rolling up her figurative sleeves to get ready.
Rolling up
For
her
some-
feathers.
Yeah, rolling up her feathers. Okay. That's kind of what I had in mind. It's up to you guys if you guys want to get into like 20 to 30 minutes of episode 2, or we can just
I feel like a fresh start next time will be best.
Okay.
Probably John's here. And
Yeah.
What warp speed did we use to get here?
it would have been between 5 and 6.
But did we do closer to 6 or?
You guys
No.
said it. You guys have been doing that kind
We
of.
did. We did exactly 5. So we did exactly 5.
We were testing systems up
Asking
to
questions
6.
about stuff you don't know nothing about.
Jesus.
We talked about, for a period of time doing 5.1, 5.2, and slowly working our way up to 6 to make sure that the ship could handle through warp 6 without any major issues.
And that's what happened when you got to the Nolax Nebula. And so you kind of did. My thought was that you were going to do the same when you went from the Nebula to here, was do another increment test, and that's why you did. It didn't take like a month and a half. It only took you a month.
Because I was thinking Silva would want to do another scan since we pushed it up to 6.
Oh, sure. Okay. You want to do?
So because the captain's okay with me doing periodic scans, right? I forget what she said to me.
Thought
Oh,
you
yeah.
did.
Absolutely. Yep. Go for it.
So since this was the first time we pushed it to 6, I figured he would want to see if anything changed.
So it's a difficulty 0, but I assume that you want to get momentum.
Yes.
Okay, so it's science and control.
Science and what?
Control.
Science and control. So it's a 15.
What's funny is that every time you guys are up on the bridge and you say, let's do 5, let's do 6, I'm just in the engine room and I just keep it at 4. I don't even change it.
Like,
Oh yeah, now we're moving.
Then when they come down, when the commander or the lieutenant come down to look, you're just like, oh yeah, it's going great here, and then they leave. And it's like,
So I figured I can still use my focus of radioactivity, right?
yeah, because you're looking for
radiation.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Because I failed on one, but I got a 1 on the other. So how many successes would that be?
2 successes.
So I got 2 successes on that.
Okay, so you guys got 2 momentum.
And did I find anything interesting out for my whole? It's the exact same.
Yeah, basically what you saw was when you do your little scanning that you see that Ensign Clark very meticulously and kind of like you can tell from the previous scan to this scan that he was annoyed that basically the nebula kind of messed with the ship. He fixed it. Remember, when you guys were in the nebula, he fixed it and it was fine. So you could tell that he didn't like that there's nonsense in the collectors. So he was making sure that those were purged. So you can see the evidence of him like really making sure that there's nothing. So like when you did your scan, there's no like, hey, that's some of the Nolax Nebula in the ship. It's like there's nothing there. He got rid of it.
No, why would there be?
Right.
We're out of it.
Right, exactly. I don't want to see that thing. So yeah, nothing weird. You don't see anything strange or anything like that. You just see a very efficient engineering team and doing good work.
Sound good?
I don't know if you want to do it this one or next turn, but as everything would have been loaded on,
okay,
with everything would be loaded off the same way, like security would get set up and everything. And I was planning on taking control of the offloading. One of my focus is cargo operations.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me look at what I can give you.
So I would be in charge of just making sure everything goes smoothly.
Yeah. Let me give you a roll. Let me just see, because you are using something kind of interesting.
Yep. I chose that because my family is in the business and trade. I'm used to doing the job and being in charge of the job.
Okay, so it would be command fitness. That's what I'm going to have you roll. It'll be, let's see. You have engineer. Let's say you have a couple sensitive medical equipment, and it's a lot of things with the starbase. We'll just make it a difficulty 1. We won't make it super complex. It's pretty easy, but there's a couple things you gotta be careful of.
How many do I have to roll?
You roll 2d20.
2d20. I just rolled them. And there's no issue. I have a 1 and a 7.
Okay, so
my fitness is a 9. So just on fitness alone, I'm under that.
Think. Isn't it, Andrew? Isn't it what his? Oh gosh, is the focus applied to the range of his attribute or his discipline?
It's the discipline. It's because it's fitness and what?
Command.
Fitness and command.
So it'd be command number or less.
Okay, command number. So what's your command number?
4.
Okay, so you have 3 successes.
So we can do
No. Sorry, 2 successes because it was a difficulty 1. Sorry.
2 successes. So we can put 1 momentum.
Yeah.
In
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. You had 3 successes because of the difficulty. You made it, so you have 2 momentum to do what you want with or bank. Yeah.
Are you
right
banking?
now, I'm thinking about banking it because we don't know what's coming up.
Sure.
Yeah. So banking the 2. So we're up to 4 now.
4 of them. Okay. So yeah. So you spend a good part of the day once you dock of overseeing the engineering crew, not Ensign Clark's engineering crew, those who came aboard, making sure that those people get the components onto the base appropriately, and you make sure they're on base, on Starbase 2 is Chief Neck, Nek. He is the chief engineer of Starbase 2, and you would make sure he gets the components, and that Dr. Treasel, who is the chief medical officer, gets the medical supplies. And that's
my job is basically telling people what to grab and where to go.
Pretty much, yep. A lot of pointing, a lot of double checking. Yeah.
Would Lieutenant Silva have anything to do while this was happening?
Let's see. Did I have you? You're going to meet later. You and the new doctor are going to meet with Dr. Treasel.
But that's like hours later.
Yeah.
Then I would like to go to the mess hall and have my almost good
Oh, you want to have plomeek soup at the by what the chef here on the Drake makes?
Yes.
Okay.
My almost palatable.
Almost palatable.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Chef Vernar. He makes it. You tell him this time, please. Now, maybe I'll have you play that out. You tell him how would you tell Chef Vernar to do it?
Okay. So I would approach him and I would say, because would I call him chef or would
chef?
Right?
Yeah, chef. Because he's enlisted. He's not a ranking officer, so he's just enlisted.
It's Commander Chef.
Commander Chef.
Okay, so I would approach him.
Master Chef.
That's a good one.
So is that a rank? Isn't it? No, or no, that's an army rank, isn't it?
Master
Master.
Chief is what you're
Yeah.
thinking, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Master Chef. Okay. I would approach him. Good day, Chef.
Oh, hello, Lieutenant.
I would like some plume. How do you say it?
Plomeek.
I would like to order some plomeek soup, but I ask that you please to work on making it proper.
Yes. Of course, Lieutenant, of course. And you see him turn, and he goes, walks, because you're like in the galley, you're like in the kitchen area. And he walks over, and he takes the plomeek root, and he takes the other elements that he's going to like boil this down. And you can just tell already, it's not going to be exactly what you want. But it may be better than it has been in the last couple weeks. Because this is probably the 70th time you've come to him and said, please don't do this. I just want my soup normal.
What is he putting in it? That's so bad. Salt.
So because he's a Bolian, they have like a really high acidic taste. So when he tastes it, and it tastes pretty much like dirt, and it doesn't taste good, it has no flavor to it, right? I guess dirt has flavor. It's very bland. So he puts things in it because he doesn't like how it tastes. So
yeah,
Vulcans want nothing. They like
right.
They want soup with dirt. Or water with dirt. It's like
yeah. And she keeps putting less and less in, but he just feels like he basically just feels like it's a slap in Soba's face to keep giving him like warm, clear water, essentially, with this like root flavor to it.
He probably does that with the Andorians too, then, because I'm sure he doesn't like their food either.
No, they get closer because Mike brought up, the red bat is like a really super acquired taste, so he's a little bit more on par. He's okay with making things normal, but to have something have like no flavor to it, it's hard for him to wrap his head around.
Well, when Vulcans get like the green tea is like crazy for him.
Exactly.
Yes, with red bat, take the nastiest stuff, and we're good to go. So I can handle a lot.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of it is acquired taste.
Yes, very much so.
So I would take the bowl and I would taste it,
and
I would go, it is better, but it still needs some work. But thank you. And I would walk out. I would sit in the corner, but I wouldn't be facing towards people. I'd be kind of facing at an angle, so I could see everybody, but I wouldn't be like facing them.
I understand, man. Yeah. And for your benefit, you would know that Chef Finar has a lot of time to perfect it, because when he was at Starbase 12, he loaded up a lot of plomeek root because it's mostly a Vulcan thing. So he's had a lot of time to make your wishes, to make it better.
Yeah. I understand his frustration though, of like, I want nothing. And it's like, but I have all these spices. And it's like, no, nothing.
Yeah, I totally get that as like a chef.
Right.
It's like the total opposite of what your job is.
Yeah.
I actually met an executive chef, and he said all executive chefs are jerks. And he said me included.
I'm sure they are.
He did go into it and explain why.
Have to be.
It made complete sense afterward.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to think about it, like Chef Ramsay's.
Mm-hmm.
He is in charge of the kitchen. everything that leaves that kitchen has his name on it. So if anything
Yeah.
is wrong,
Oh
it's his name that's on the line.
Yeah, it's your reputation.
yeah.
Yes.
So
So
there's
everything leaves that kitchen has to be perfect to his standard. And if something is wrong, you're losing money, you're losing time, you're losing resources. Because
Yeah.
if it's wrong, you have to throw it out and start all over again.
Yeah, and also like food can be a health hazard too if it's
Mhm.
if it's not done properly.
And after he explained all that, he said, because of that, all executive chefs are jerks. And I'm going, it makes sense.
It does.
When you're on the line and you get backed up, you lose money, you lose customers. You want it to be perfect.
Mhm.
So you have to make sure that everyone working with you is doing things to the best of their ability.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially if you're a Michelin star chef like Chef Ramsay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean 95% of your market is return visit.
Yep.
Yeah, true, very true.
And if you have a bad experience at a restaurant, you don't go back, and that's
Yeah.
bad.
And the restaurant too, like if you have a good experience, sometimes people say like, oh yeah, that restaurant was really good. But if you have a bad experience, you're definitely getting bad reviews. Like people love leaving bad reviews.
Yeah, and people tell their friends too. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very cutthroat business to be in.
Yeah, if you have a good experience, you'll tell your friends. If you have a bad experience, you will tell every person on the planet.
You tell the world if you have a bad
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
Yep.
very true. Well, I guess Lieutenant Sova is telling everybody on the ship then.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
And
worry
we're
about holding.
it's all because he doesn't know what good food is.
Yeah, that's
He's saying, "Don't try this soup; it's disgusting." And then we all say, "Yeah, we wouldn't. I wouldn't worry about it."
That's the weirdest thing is if he did complain, it would be like, oh man, he makes it, he adds too much flavor, and people would be like, "Was that a bad thing?" He constantly wants to add spices and make it taste more flavorful.
What's wrong with this man?
Yeah. You can't get better flavor than root water. I mean, just can't.
Yuck.
I mean, is that what it is? Basically, is just
Basically, yeah.
they boil root and then they pour it into a bowl.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
Yum.
Just like Grandpa Sova used to make.
Wow.
You're forgetting there's no affection there when he says that.
Oh,
You know
he could
how
look that.
the red bat?
What's that?
No,
I
that was
chose
the
it
joke.
literally 30 seconds before I said it. I literally had no clue what it was. I just looked up Andorian food. I went, okay, this looks good, and I said it, and I'm like, oh, that worked out so perfectly.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Well, that concludes episode 1. So, is everybody ready for the title of episode 2?
Yeah.
Sure.
No. So, it is Resolve.
Hey.
There's a lot to resolve.
A lot to resolve.
Very good.
Yeah. Why Grenjid never made it home.
Oh my god, don't do this. Oh no, Adrian's gonna lose her gourd if something happens to Grenjid. Stop it, not my
Curse you nightly.
Head cheeseburger experience.
Oh man.
All because we couldn't take 12 seconds to get him a little bit closer.
Oh, it hurts.
No, that's a good call.
I don't like being a captain.
That's how their
Hard.
culture. That's how their culture will grow.
We
Yeah.
could do the crazy thing and spend the 11 seconds to get to his planet and then kick him out without slowing down. Just be like,
launch him, and he's like, ah!
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I should have thought that.
And Andrew wants to take a month's travel back to the nebula just to grab him and slingshot him to the planet.
Slingshot him around.
Oh Lord have mercy. That's funny.
The thing is
All right.
I need someone a little bit more compassionate compared to Commander. Because the Commander would be very rigid with the rules.
Kill him.
Yeah.
He's seen too much. Kill him.
So it really would be someone a little bit more lighthearted as captain.
True. Gotta be somewhat well-rounded. It's hard, like, for me because I'm not like, if that was my decision, I'd been like, let's take him home, let's go meet his people, let's go, let's have a sleepover. But like, it's hard for me to get out of my own actual head and try to think as like this character. But it's fun. It's a challenge. It's good. So
yeah,
all right,
remember,
I'm gonna stop the recording.
What would
Stop the
Archer
recording.
do?
See you next time on Vietnam Capta.